Most television and movies today are garbage. I think we can all agree on that. Even stuff you don't hate usually isn't good, it just doesn't make you want to puke. Somehow the bar has gotten so low that we praise that. When is the last time that a real human being told you that a Marvel movie or show was like amazing, really incredible? You know, usually you see them and you tell people, it was good, and then you forget about it 2 weeks later. On to the next mildly interesting piece of content to pass the time. Well, that crap ends today. Hey, what's up guys? It's Greg, and I'm here to remind you that your time is limited on this earth, and you owe yourself better entertainment than the schlock that is the TV and movie industry right now. The alternative is books and video games, but you don't have to experience them in the way that you're traditionally used to. Now, if you like TV, nothing wrong with that. At the end of the video, we're going to talk about how you need to stop settling for subpar crap, hoping that things are going to get better as the season goes on. It won't. What I want you to keep in mind throughout this video is that there are so many incredible stories in the world and so many cool ways to experience them. So don't sell yourself short. All right, let's talk books first. Now, I know it's condescending to say that the book was better. It's the truth, though, and it's not even a fair comparison because movies and TV are a different medium entirely with their own strengths and limitations. In a book, literally anything is possible, and the author has the freedom to take as long or as short a time as they need to get it done. Like, shows have budgets, and CGI can only do so much. They have to cram or pad the content to fit this predetermined window, and you as the audience can always tell when things are being stretched or stuffed. In the streaming age, I don't understand why we are still beholden to 30 and 60-minute episodes. If you need 42 minutes to tell a story, then use it. We must ascend beyond network time slots. Sometimes it's that the creators think that you're too stupid to understand the original material, which is how Jane Austen's classic Persuasion recently got turned into a moronic CW-level drama, but with period costumes. Or how Netflix is marketing Bridgerton as for people that like Jane Austen but wish there was more stairway sex. Come here, quick aside. I think we're all getting tired of sex being used to cover up for bad writing. Like, it's not even done well, it's rushed. As someone who has enjoyed a couple of Earl Spencer novels, I can tell you the spicy scenes are much hotter after some buildup. Like when you're later in the book and you're like, just already! That's good writing. But hack writer's gonna hack, I guess. The biggest thing that shows always lack is depth. And that owes to the storytelling mechanism. You have to be explicitly shown everything, and if time doesn't allow for it, or you just don't have an eye for detail, all the depth is gone. When you're reading a book, you get to hear the character's thoughts. You see the tiny little facial expressions that you would otherwise miss if you're not like a body language expert. Book characters are always experiencing like 5 emotions at the same time, and their face shows all 5 of them. A book also gives a story the space and time to develop naturally instead of being energized to life and forced to dance a la Weekend at Bernie's. All right, how about an example? Let's take the recent Amazon bomb, Wheel of Time. Oh, you thought I was gonna say Rings of Power? I didn't even watch that shit after what they did to Wheel of Time. Now, Wheel of Time can be intimidating. It's 13 books long. I get it. It's an epic. It spans thousands of years and miles, taking the characters to different dimensions and across every inch of their world. A world that contains diverse locations and culture. Come here, quick aside again. This is why people were pissed about the multicultural casting of the show. The book uses isolated regions and their differing peoples and cultures to create drama and also differentiate the locations. The show decided to go with the box-checking melting pot plan, and that removed all the depth and left us with a world that feels bland and everything is the same no matter where the characters go. I'm gonna call this homogediverse. Throughout their journey, the characters grow and change with excellent arcs, and the world changes around them. It has timeless, relatable themes and deep, complex characters that you can actually connect with. It's a phenomenal story. Honestly, it never had a chance of being told well on the screen. But you don't want to read these 13 books, and I can't fault you for that. It's an undertaking. But you can listen to them, and if you haven't tried audiobooks in a while, you do not know what you're missing. The production value on some of these is incredible. A lot of times they have multiple readers, especially when there's male and female characters. Oftentimes, a man will read a female character like this, and it's very distracting and horrible. Some of them even have background music and sound effects. These things are not just a reading, they're a performance. The Wheel of Time books specifically are read by Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, and they are fantastic. Okay, but why is it Kate Redding? Look at this. That's her last name. It should be Kate Reading. She reads for a it's right there.
You missed it! How could you miss
If you find you like them, you can continue to listen to their amazing talent in all of Brandon Sanderson's books, especially his Stormlight Archive series. With listening, you get to experience these stories without having to commit to reading the whole thing, but also without having to miss out on whatever the editor decided to cut, or having to see whatever the director arrogantly decided to change because they thought their fan fiction was better than the original author. Another great example of this book to movie thing is the recent Dune. It's gorgeous, I'll give it that. But that's about it. The director had to strip away all of the nuance to bring us the flashy visuals and the grand set pieces. Dune the book is actually a dramatic political thriller full of mystery and intrigue with religious themes underpinning the whole thing. It contains multiple storylines, plots within plots, and all of it is just fancied up with some sci-fi window dressing. The movie, on the other hand, is just sci-fi spectacle. I remember when I saw it, I was a bit disappointed, but mostly I was just bored. In any case, if you haven't given books a try in a while and you're feeling a bit bored with visual media, try books or audiobooks. Another storytelling vehicle that has a really bad reputation is video games. If you don't play them, you're probably thinking about this, or maybe this. Okay, it's a lot of that second one. But there are a slew of video games telling incredible stories that even books can't match. Video games have become, in my opinion, the absolute best way to tell stories because they combine the visual advantages of movies with the storytelling possibilities of books and add in a new device that neither one has. You get to experience the story actively instead of passively. Recently, when not editing, I have been experiencing the outstanding God of War. This franchise started as kind of a typical hack and slash game. The main character, Kratos, was just rage murdering his way across the Greek pantheon. In 2018, however, Santa Monica Studios decided that he should grow up, and they told the story of Kratos moving to Midgard in the land of the Norse gods. We find him as an older widower, and his deceased wife has requested that her ashes be spread from the tallest mountain in all the realms. So the two adventure out together to carry out her last wish, and along the way, they challenge and improve their strained relationship. Their journey ends with events that would lead to the Norse Ragnarok, and Kratos spends the next game trying to avoid what is clearly his fate, all while trying to hold on to his son, both physically and emotionally. New games have grown-up ambiguous themes. They ask you questions that you can ponder. This new God of War specifically really explores the idea that there's usually not strictly good guys and bad guys. There usually isn't a really clear good choice or bad choice. In real life, we have to weigh multiple, often conflicting factors and just do the best we can with the limited time and information that we have. Perspective is sometimes the only decider of the shades of right and wrong. You meet interesting characters that have their own stories and motivations. Challenges are met and overcome, and again, it hits you differently because as the player, you are the one overcoming them. There were a lot of times during God of War I wasn't actually playing the game. The stories were so good, I just stood around to listen to them. But like the books, maybe you don't want to actively engage in video games, or you just don't own a video game console. Not a problem. YouTube has you covered. Instead of watching the next soulless Star Wars nostalgia bait, you can watch these video games, edited and curated by someone with passion who wants to help you enjoy good stories. You want other games? Hey, if you want to have your heart torn out and then stitched together again, experiencing the hopeful highs and desperate lows that humanity can achieve when the world is ending, I can't recommend The Last of Us highly enough. I don't trust you. You got about 15 minutes to prove yourself, or I'm dropping your ass like a bad habit. Last advantage of video games is that they have environments that books and movies just can't match because you can explore them. Last year, I enjoyed a criminally underrated game called Control. The gameplay and story were very good, but where this game shined was in the world you got to experience. This sci-fi story takes place entirely in a government building that handles and hides supernatural events. As you play the game, you explore this massive covert facility whose walls shift, and you read and hear bits and pieces of the day-to-day operations of an organization that investigates and contains X-Files type stuff. The world feels lived in, and you discover case files and recordings of the investigations. The visual storytelling in games, top notch. Last thing I want to discuss, like I said, is TV shows and movies. I'm not telling you not to watch them, But I am telling you to be more discerning in what you're willing to accept. If a show isn't good, stop watching. If a studio is putting out average movies, stop going. Make these people earn your attention. For about a decade now, we have been getting half-baked, phoned-in slop, and it's time we stop putting up with this crap. Recently, I tried Netflix's Blockbuster. It's a sitcom about the last blockbuster on Earth. Had some names that I recognize and I like, and the premise seemed good. It was boring as hell. I gave it one episode and it didn't wow me, so I'm not gonna waste any more of my time. I don't owe Netflix my attention, and neither do you. Listen, your time is important and it needs to be spent wisely, even when it's on entertainment, which is why I really appreciate you watching me. I'll see you next time.